So this is what you're seeing here, the Evergreen State College. So Evergreen State College is having a lot of controversy right now. And what had happened, or what I had read, was that there was students that had a disagreement with a professor at the college. So I'm looking at the Washington Times, and an article reads, "Students berate professor who refused to participate in an event called the No Whites Day of Absence." So apparently, to some of the videos that I had been looking at, that these are events that take place every year. And so I don't know if this is something that they do as experimental based on, an assignment, or something having to do with race relations. So it sounded like that's sort of where their intentions were going in the beginning. But it went a whole nother direction when the professor refused to participate in this activity. So it said over the last 72 hours, the students had taken over the liberal arts college in Washington State. And there was only one adult that tried to intervene or stop the whole event. So the students at the college in Olympia who filmed their exploits had posted the videos on social media, have occupied and barricaded the library, shouting down anyone who disagrees with them or shows insufficient passion for racial justice. So apparently this was a demonstration activity, but it went more personal when Bret Weinstein, he refused to participate in it. He's a biology professor. He says he was berated by dozens of students outside the classroom on Tuesday morning for refusing to participate in an event in which white people were invited to leave the campus for a day. Now he says the police told him that he needed to teach his classes off campus for his safety concerns. So things went far out of control at Evergreen. So as far as I was looking, there was a Facebook post of the school that had been vandalized. I guess some kids had came up there, some people had went up there with bats and spray paint, and there was spray paint on the sides of some of the buildings. There's also been some threats towards the teacher, and I guess that's the reason why the police has been around the campus, in particular for the safety of the staff and for the safety of the students. And so the big problems that have been happening up there, their president of the school, which is George Bridges, he's the president of Evergreen State College. It says that they have internal chaos and it's intertwined with their falling enrollment. So it was posted in Seattle Times editorial board from them that the school had two problems they were facing. The president, George Bridges, and his administration need to assure future students and their parents that the academics come first, not the acquiescence of the 200 or so student protesters at the expense of 4,000 students. So I guess the school is funded. It has like a drop in enrollment, and I guess schools, their livelihood is based on their funding. And by this being a liberal school, a liberal arts school, it's public, the school enrollment and the numbers of students is important. And the drop, it has a lot to do with the livelihood or more long-term issues of whether the school is going to continue on. So this is the professor, Bret Weinstein, and this is sort of a scene of some of the chaos that had unfolded and some of the students that were standing there, and the barricade and the school being, our campus being closed when the chaos had unfolded. And you're going to see George Bridges, the president of the school. So with that being said, I will go into this. I understand how the students really feel about this whole thing. The way they looked at it in terms of this a day without is that this professor outrightly exerted his white privilege, and that is the way they looked at it. And they, I guess, believed that he needed to participate so that he could see what it would feel like when you were excluded. This is what I'm getting. If you're excluded from an education or from participating in teaching education of students simply because of the color of your skin. That's what I'm getting. But he refused, and by him being white, he feels that he's been victimized because of the color of his skin, and he's feeling that maybe we should change that, and that we should approach things more inclusively, where nobody leaves for a day, and that we should break that whole um, event. But the students aren't seeing it that way. So it's a back and forth pendulum. So there's been a lot of uprisings ever since November 2016 election from lots of different militant or extremist groups. And that being either the right or the left, whether it's conservative or it's unconservative or whatever political position people have. So I wanted to take with that incident right there, we have this woman here. Look at the cover of her book. It says How Baby Boomers, Immigrants, and Islam Screwed My Generation by Lauren Southern. I thought that Ann Coulter was very controversial, but let's hold up here. Lauren Southern is sort of a commentator, and been seeing videos coming out about her lately and this book that she's written, and she's about the return of the traditional woman, and she's trying to hold rallies. So she's basically in what defense of traditional womanhood, and basically have babies, stay in the kitchen, back in the 60s type stuff is where I'm getting that she's driving at. And so this woman is pretty controversial. Do you see the swastikas down there? If you can see them. So she's showed up at I believe she showed up at school institutions, and she's talked. And they say that she's thrown out there from the alt-right. So, but she's against anything having to do with liberalism, anything with feminism. She's sort of, but she's only for whites. She's pro-white. She's pro-white. She's one of those people who she's pro-white. And I don't know, there's been a rise of a lot of race debates, and a lot of commentary and talks and what have you, things that have raised eyebrows. So I would say, like I said, and I said this even before, prior to all these events unfolding, that I wouldn't be surprised if more things happen. This is not the first college that has had, race debates or issues on politics. Look what happened at Berkeley when Ann Coulter wanted to go there to do a talk. They did not want her to be there. Some people feel that she had the freedom of speech, the right to go and talk, but it's what she's saying that rubs people the wrong way. It's not as inclusive of other people of other backgrounds is what it's feeling. It's feeling like it's spiteful, or it's more for, just white Americans. So this woman is sort of like that as well, but she's more like let's bring back the traditional woman, basically forget, screw women's rights. It's about women's rights to just stay in the kitchen. So with that being said, thanks for listening, but I'm not surprised if we'll see a lot more of this.